our goal is for you guys to stay in our community for as long as you want. And then the next step for you is go buy your own house. And we want to
Just go
help you
get
do
one.
that. Exactly. And a lot of the people are in that process now where we've been doing this for about 2.5, 3 years. And so, like I said, some of the houses we keep as those business professional houses, and then one of the houses we say, hey, 3 months here, we're going to do this entrepreneur, startup founder sprint. So that's the whole goal, is we want to be those people to push people to go into home ownership, because I mean, I'm a real estate fan. It changed my life and I wanted to help change others.
Yeah. Hey there, do you want to skip the trial and error in real estate investing? Visit my website, dwanderful.com. I will show you how to do double your income in no time at all. A broke single mom fired from Denny's becomes America's most sought after real estate investor. How does that happen? Well, that's me, Dwan Bent-Twyford, aka Dwanderful. But it doesn't stop there. I, along with some amazing guests, are going to teach you everything there is to know about investing. Listen, success is not exclusive. I can teach you, you can have it too. I can share with you. So I want you to join me for season 5 of the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. Cheers. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. I'm your host, Dwan Bent-Twyford. I'm America's most sought after real estate investor, and I am so excited that you are here with me today. As you can see, I have a very handsome man over here. So this is our wicked smart man, and we're going to see what Jesse has to share with us today. But if you're new to Dwanderful, I took my first name Dwan and wonderful, and I made a new word. So at Dwanderful, our motto is people before profits. So if that's something that resonates with you, I'm your girl. If you'll go to dwanderful.com and opt in, I'll send you a free book, How to Flip Your Way to a Fortune, and all kinds of fun free things, and training and videos, and just all the stuff. But first, I would like to now welcome my guest, Jesse Ray. How are you?
I'm amazing. You're already making me blush. I appreciate the intro.
No, I didn't intro you yet. I just
You
introed
said
me.
I'm handsome, so I appreciate
Well,
that,
I mean,
Dwan.
look at that face and that smile. It's like all the girls are going to be crushing on you. I love Jesse Ray. My family is from Tennessee. My dad's first name is Jesse, and that seems like a Southern, like Jesse Ray.
Yeah, it does. It has that little vibe to it.
It does. It does. I was like, oh, I immediately loved it. Okay, so how are you today?
I'm doing amazing. I'm so glad that I'm able to talk to you and be on the podcast.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So we like to start off. We're gonna have a toast. Everyone knows I'm drinking my live enzymes. What do you have?
Nice.
Water?
Yeah, shout out to the water.
To the water. All right, cheers. Everybody watching, cheers. Get your drink. And everybody take a deep breath and stretch out whatever is bugging you so you can tune in and you can have fun with Jesse and with me today. Now, if you are listening, you're an audio listener, you're going to love it. But if you want to see all this goodness in person, you need to go to my YouTube channel. It's just Wonderful Real Estate, and watch us. These videos are up on YouTube. And I mean, honestly, Jesse, who doesn't want to watch us and get involved and be in the moment with us?
It's so much more fun. We actually get to watch it live. It's just more energy, I feel like, too.
I do too. I watch, all podcasts, everything I do, I watch everything. I know people are like, oh, I listen when I'm running. It's like, it's not the same. You don't get to see all this awesomeness.
So true. And able to take notes when you're actually just focusing, watching. So I totally agree.
Yeah. Okay, so Jesse, we just throw our guests straight to the wolves over
Let's
here.
do it.
So here's what I want you to do. I just want you to, obviously, his name's Jesse Ray. I want you to tell us who you are. I just want you to share your social medias, and you just tell me in like 2 sentences what you do. And then I have a couple of fun questions, and we're going to find out how you became Jesse Ray, who's on the most wonderful real estate podcast ever today.
Let's do it. So socials, Instagram at the Jesse Ray. And what I do, I help people escape the corporate rat race and achieve financial freedom. And also with furnished co-living homes, created Growth House. So we could dive into that if we want.
Wow, that was the best, shortest. I love that that quick short intro. So the Jesse Ray. So I will be following you today,
I
and
just followed you, so perfect.
yeah, I follow everybody, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, here's the questions and here's the da da da, and I appreciate that people do that for me, but I don't read any of it because I just want to get to know you and ask
Yeah.
you questions. Like if you and I were sitting down having a drink, what would we be talking about? And we wouldn't
Mm.
have these intros. And so, but after I introduce someone, then I'm a stalker. I'll be on all your Instagram, all your stuff, liking all your stuff, sharing all your stuff. So
Love it. Love it.
you're gonna be sucked into the vortex over here. All right, so tell me that little part that you said at the end about um
Growth House. Yeah, our
yeah, so tell
community.
me what that means.
Yeah, so when I finally ended up escaping the corporate, rat race, I got
Huh?
into real estate and I kind of had a niche of creating these co-living homes, which co-living essentially is you buy a house, you have extra bedrooms, started by house hacking, popular term in real estate, lived in one of the rooms and rented out the other rooms. And so the goal is to live for free. But at the same time, I was very intentional who I rented to because I was living in the house. I get to choose who do I want to surround myself with. And for me, I was aspiring entrepreneur, aspiring real estate investor. So those are the people I was trying to attract. So within 6 months of getting my first house, having amazing, fun people live with me, after I lived for 5 years by myself saying I hate roommates, I'm now in a house with four other roommates and loving it. And everyone else also was loving it as well. And that's when the concept of growth house, okay, how do I make this into a business where we have more co-living homes and all surrounded with growth-minded people? So that's essentially what we ended up starting, and that's how I got into real estate.
So I love growth house. So I know people that buy maybe a 4 bedroom or 5 bedroom house like near college campuses, and they
Yeah.
rent and all that. And I know people that do, and maybe this is the word, but I've heard the term pad split, where you like have
Yeah.
and you're split. So when you said growth house, so I'm based in Colorado. So as soon as you
Yeah.
said that, I thought, oh, does he grow weed?
A lot of people said that. So wait, what's this grow house? No, no, not grow house. There's
No,
no
it's just
operation.
it's fun being living in Colorado. If anyone says anything about a grow house, we're all like, "Oh, okay, they grow weed, cool." And nothing against that. I mean, people are making millions of dollars off of it. But no, I know you're real estate based. So I was like, growth house. Okay,
I'm
so
from Portland, so yeah, probably people would assume the same thing.
yeah, well, yeah. Oh, so you're in Portland now?
No, actually, that's when I moved to Arizona. So I lived in
Oh,
Portland
that's
most of
right.
my
You're in
life,
Arizona. I'm sorry, I
and
know
now
that.
in Arizona.
I gotta tell you, Portland used to be just such a beautiful city. I used to love to go there. My daughter lived there for a couple years, and it is like such a hellhole right now with just the tents and the
Unfortunately.
people. And it had one of those beautiful downtown. I loved it. And now I was there not too a couple years ago, and I was just like, what happened to this beautiful city? I mean,
Yeah, I left in 2021 when I bought my first house here in Arizona. Have not been back since. So it is sad. I love
it's
it. Always going to
heartbreaking.
be in
Don't
my
go
heart,
back, and it'll
but
break your heart.
So, and also the cool thing about moving to like a city like Arizona or Scottsdale is people want to come see you because it's a place where people want to vacation to. So I don't feel bad because all my friends are reaching out to me. Even my immediate family moved out to Arizona. So I'm like, oh, I'm good now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you're where it's warm, so I'm all for the warm weather. Although I'm in Clinton,
Hmm.
Iowa right now, and in the winter here, so I've never actually spent a whole winter here, but we bought a bunch of well, I guess I'll tell you in your show, but we bought a bunch of buildings, and the temperature gets like actual temperature, gets like 30 below, like not with wind chill, like real temperature. I was like, oh
Can't
my
do
God,
that.
who lives there? Like, why do you all live there? It's so but now in the summer, it's great. They have music outside every day. People are out. There's like stuff going. It's like so fun. But man, when that fall weather comes, it's like
Hmm.
no, I'm tapping.
Yeah.
All right, now growth house. So I love the idea of what you're saying. And so if someone is like new to this concept, so let's just say, so are you one of the places that takes a house and maybe takes any extra living area and turns them into bedrooms? Do you have one where it's like shared kitchens? Like, what is your growth house for? Because a lot of people are really super new to this concept, and I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of it.
100%. And when I talk about Growth House, we kind of niche down into business professionals, entrepreneurs, but we kind of take a step back and just look at what it looks like on a normal term of real estate. It's co-living. A new company out there that's doing amazing things, like you said, is Pad Split. So they're doing something similar. And essentially is taking a house, it has maybe 4 bedrooms, and you add at least 2 or 3 bedrooms to really maximize. It's really looking at a house, a single family home, what's the highest and best use. So you have individual rooms, you can furnish them, you don't have to, and you rent by bedroom with all the common areas are shared. And typically to create more bedrooms in a house, you do have to get rid of some of the common areas. So
Yeah.
typically what's left is a kitchen, maybe a dining room. And, for us, we have a little miniature living room. But besides that, it's mostly rooms.
So I'm living in a growth house and I'm paying, what am I paying for rent?
Yeah, we're in Phoenix, so it's pretty much I would say few $100s less than if you actually probably more, about $600 to $700 less than if you want to get a studio apartment somewhere. So you're paying about $900 to $1,000 furnished room. Almost think of it as an Airbnb experience where you don't
Yeah.
have to go in there and furnish everything. It's like, oh, this is an amazing place. For us, we typically like to do 6 months minimum, and that's kind of our concept and model.
Now, so I'm going to probably ask you all the questions that you hear
Let's
all the
do it.
time. But now I
Yes.
am a woman. And if
Yes.
I'm like, hey, I found this growth house, I'm going to be in Phoenix, in Arizona. Are you in Phoenix?
Yeah, Phoenix. We have houses in Phoenix and Tempe, which is a local near the university out here, ASU.
And I'm like, okay, I want to rent one of these. I'll have some roommates. I'm not living alone. There's safety in numbers. But do you have men and women? Are they in the same house?
We
And
do have some co-ed. Yeah, go ahead.
so if they're co-ed, then how am I safe?
Yeah. So we do have co-ed houses, and then we also have right now all male houses. I've been trying to do an all women's house, but for whatever reason, it just hasn't lined up. So we're still working on that. But as far as like the safety, what we do like to do is have a private bathroom or shared bathrooms with, one gender or the other. So that's typically what we do for that. As far as safety, is also just the vetting process. We
Yeah.
do have a strict vetting process, obviously all the basic stuff, background, credit check. But besides that, you actually get to meet the people beforehand. I can kind of walk through what we do and take this for someone else who's looking to do co-living or a pad split. Take this same kind of concept. You don't have to do it as, detailed, but this is what we do. We do first a form that someone fills out. After that, myself or my assistant hops on a call for about 15 minutes just to see if it's going to be a good fit. Really, it's matching energy. For us, negativity is not something we want in our house. So you got to be kind of an uplifting, positive person. We tell you, hey, you're going to live with 6 other people. We almost make it seem like it's like chaos. But in reality, if you went by any of our houses, you're like, this is the cleanest house ever. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
everyone's like, either out working or working in their, rooms or, just doing stuff. So it's not like it's a crowded home, but we kind of make sure to let people know, are you okay with sharing a space with other people? Are you a clean person? This is kind of our guidelines. So after that first call, then it's the credit background check. And then after that, you actually FaceTime tour with one of the current roommates. So you now
Oh,
have a cosign from myself or my assistant, one of the roommates. And if that roommate's like, yeah, I think this person is a great fit, then at the very end, you do a FaceTime call with the whole family in that current house. So you actually I don't make the decision. The house is actually the one who co-signs for the next person to move in.
see, I love that. I don't know anybody else that does what you do that does that extra factor like that. I would feel like I would want to meet, and I don't care if it's guys or girls either, personally, but I would want to meet the people because
Mhm.
you do get a sense of people's energy and you get a sense if someone's a good person or not. And, I wouldn't want to live with like a bunch of rowdy partiers. Not
Mhm.
saying I haven't done or do any of those things. I would sort of want like nice professional, we all get along and we can all sit around and have a kumbaya once in a while, maybe cook in the backyard. And, you don't have to get attached to all the people either.
Exactly. No, you're so on point, and that's why we have, some house rules. And at the end of the day, it's really to create harmony in the house. It's not to have rules. It's just like, hey, personal belongings are not left in common areas. That's why you're like, how do 5, 6 people live together and it's spotless? Because we clean up. And another
Yeah.
rule is like, hey, here's our quiet hours. We're all working professionals or entrepreneurs. So this is, the time that we're probably going to be going to sleep. And most of us like to wake up early at 6 or 7 to go work out. So there's just kind of like a vibe to the house that attracts the right people.
Mhm.
So there is no parties. There's no, guests staying overnight all the time. It's just like a very kind of structured house for people who are looking to really expedite their career and success and growth.
And if I was traveling somewhere, because I've stayed in a lot of those hotels that are like the residence inns where they have a kitchen and they have this and that, which those are fine too. But if I was going to be someplace for like 6 months or, like working entrepreneur and I didn't know anybody, I feel like I would like that because I could meet some people and like have someone to talk to and maybe like, hey, can we grab a drink? And, not like buddy
Hmm.
buddy, but, like you're not just in a hotel and every night you're sitting in the room by yourself all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really a plug and play for someone who's on aspiring or a current entrepreneur, where you come in, you have the community already built within the house. And what we do, especially, we kind of have cohorts. So some of the times where the houses are just business professionals and entrepreneurs. And then we have times where we have a dedicated 3 month span where, hey, these are our startup founders and entrepreneurs living in this house. And that's when we go extra. We have weekly accountability meetings. We have master classes that we host at the house every single month. We bring in top speakers, cold plunges. We have beverage companies sponsoring us. And the next time we do this in
Really?
2025, we actually have a production coming out. We're having a YouTube show around these entrepreneurs and following their journey, documenting everything that they're doing. And also, we have a board of angel investors. So there's a lot more levels to it. But I like to talk sometimes just in general because you don't have to do what we're doing. And so to make it more relatable to the audience, if they want to get into co-living, just do it more of the simple way. Like I said, if you just want to have business professionals, but yeah, we do like intense 3 month sprints where we have a program and everything set up.
So when you do, I like that. So when you're doing the 3 month sprint, is that your program?
Yeah, it's a program that we created along with a lot of mentors and coaches out here in Arizona. So it just also depends on who's moving in. Like this next one, we're probably gonna do real estate focused. So we're gonna be like, all right, who's our key mentors who are gonna come do the master classes, teach, etc. It's almost like having a mastermind for 3 months for these people, which is, can be invaluable with all the connections and resources that they have through the house.
Oh my God. No, that sounds amazing because, people that are new, like when I was new investing, there was nobody to teach. There were no, like, I started before the internet. So there was
Hmm.
no YouTube, watching videos, seminars. There was no HGTV. There was like nothing. I figured it out. I took classes at Home Depot to learn how to fix things. Like, I really seat of my pants. And I'm all about trying to help people get from being new to like someplace else as fast as possible without all of the things. I mean, if someone came in like and did a 3 month, like they were in there, that would be amazing.
Oh, Dwan, you might have to come fly out and come hang
I
out with
know.
us.
I'm thinking like I want to come do that for a minute. That sounds
Let's
super
do it.
fun. That sounds super fun that everyone's kind of working on the thing. So then you also teach people and show people how to do and have these co-living properties.
I mean, yeah, that's the benefit of being in our community. Even if you're just doing it during, our kind of, I guess you call it regular residency when you're just a business professional. Our goal is for you guys to stay in our community for as long as you want. And then the next step for you is go buy your own house. And we want to
Just go
help you
get
do
one.
that. Exactly. And a lot of the people are in that process now where we've been doing this for about 2.5, 3 years. And so, like I said, some of the houses we keep as those business professional houses, and then one of the houses we say, hey, 3 months here, we're going to do this entrepreneur startup founder sprint. So that's the whole goal is we want to be those people to push people to go into home ownership because I mean, I'm a real estate fan. It changed my life and I wanted to help change others.
Yeah. I want a cold plunge with the other entrepreneurs.
Let's do it.
I was like, when you said that, I was like, that would be like my dream. Have a couple months, a bunch of entrepreneurs, and we're cold plunging, and we're learning, and you're like all in it. That would be so. That to me, that's an amazing way to learn too.
100%. And I'm actually super excited because someone just texted me and I've been working on a cold plunge sponsor and we just got one, and they're going to come out to our mastermind at the end of this month. And I'm just super excited because, yeah, cold plunges, working out, health and wellness, big part of my life. I think a lot of people think it's all about business, all about finances, but for me, it's that holistic, like what other areas of your life, let's lift it all up together.
Yeah, I do. Part of when I'm working with people, it's like, listen, there's like five equities of your life. You've got your
Mm,
business, but you got your spiritual, your mental, your physical, your friends and family. And a lot of, especially newer investors, will tend to like focus all on the money. And
yeah.
then, maybe their health or their mental well being takes a backseat. And they focus on whatever. And it's really easy to get out of balance and get out of whack and even like lose touch with people because you're just like, you're in the grind. And so I am always telling people like, listen, you've got to make time for all the things. Because if you don't, you're going to get super burned out. First of all, you're going to get super burned
Hmm.
out. But you have to take time for your body. You have to take time for your mindset. Like you have to do those things. Because if you don't, what's that old saying that when you're young, you spend all your health getting your wealth.
Mm,
And then when you get older, you spend all your wealth trying to get healthy again.
hmm.
Like,
So
just do
true.
both at the same time. So when you do get older, you're wealthy and healthy.
Right. Yeah. That's just having those non-negotiables in your life. And for me, that is working out 5 times a day, eating healthy. And so, yeah, I think it's so true.
My husband and I, a couple years ago, we're pretty healthy in general, but we travel a lot. I do a lot of workshops, I do a lot of seminars, and like we really still like to do that. We enjoy going, we teach, run hotel. But I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, we're like, when we're on the road, and before COVID, you could go to like a Marriott and they'd bring you nice room service and it's on the big table and you have all the bread and the butter, all the stuff. And then we get back home and we'd be like tired mentally and physically. And like, you know what? We really have to start taking better care of ourselves like we do at home out on the road. So now
Mm,
we have a suitcase that we travel with, and it has my Vitamix juicer because we like to juice. It
love
has
it.
the grounding mat, it has the heated blanket, it has all the stuff. And I was like, yeah, and we take our own pillows. And I was like, okay, now we're like those people, like the people that you think like the crazy health nuts. I'm like, oh, well, we're those people because we have one bag that just has things to help us stay grounded and healthy while
Hmm.
traveling. Because, it's easy,
Yeah.
especially when you're younger, like, even, like, 20 years ago, we'd be like, we're here, wherever, we just go eat or drink, like, but, after a while, you're like, you need to take care of yourself all the way around. So, yeah, so now we have our own pillow, and then, we use a different something that's not white, so the maids won't, like, toss it into laundry, and then we like, "Hey, can you wash our sheets without bleach?" And
Uh-oh, you're those high maintenance people that are like on the
And it's like,
list.
we've got a Vitamix that's this big, and
Oh,
I've got the
man.
grounding, the heated blanket, and I have my aromatherapy, all my stuff. But we both use it when we're home.
Hmm.
So when you're traveling, I feel like each time we stay somewhere, that is our temporary home. So we need to still
Yeah.
treat ourselves the same way.
Yeah, it's keeping that same routine. And that's something that I'm actually about to go to Europe for 3 months. So I'm gonna be like trying to figure out how do I eat healthy? Because I meal prep everything. Like I'm the most basic, like chicken or rice, turkey and
Yeah,
rice.
yeah.
And like I can't do that on the road. And
3 months,
so I'm
I
just
don't
trying
know.
to
Well,
figure it
you'd
out.
be surprised though. I mean, I love Europe. I've been there backpacking when each of my kids graduate high school. I take them
Hmm.
for a month. I'm like, put whatever you can on your backpack, and we're going to go, and we're just going to stay and travel and take the train, and we're going to go where the wind leads us. And all the times I did that, though, we actually ended up eating pretty good because we would eat like the real, actual food of that country,
Mm.
and find like the little places more off the road where like there's some grandma in the back that's making things, and we actually ate really surprisingly healthy.
So that's what I keep hearing. Everyone that goes to Europe is like, Jesse, you're gonna love it because everything's like no preservatives. Like it's
It,
way healthier than the
the food's
States.
so much better. It is.
Yeah.
Even like I remember when we were in Italy, people like have like a thing of bread and some butter and some wine like at lunch. They're just hanging out, and I was like, oh my god, if I eat all that bread, I'm gonna get so fat. But then when you eat the stuff or the pasta, it's different. It tastes
Mm,
different, it settles in your body different, everything's not full of preservatives and gluten, and any place that's, like, just a smidge off of the main path, you all the food's really good. I was really surprised, I
mm.
was like, "Mm, okay, I'm digging it," because I was thinking like, "Oh god, I'm gonna gain 20 pounds. How am I gonna guess I'm gonna eat everything in the world," and I ended up not gaining anyway and loving all the food and meeting and going into the places where the locals go. Are you enjoying this episode? Make sure you don't miss a single solitary episode. Click subscribe, like, follow, all the things so you'll get notifications whenever time a new show comes out. And let your friends know about it too. It's amazing. All right, so if you want to learn more about real estate investing, just reach out to dwanderful.com. I'll send you some free stuff. Back to the show.
That's my big thing is like, yeah, it's cool to have a vacation and like really be in the tourist area. But for me, the whole point about travel is like experience the culture, get to know the people, get to really know what the vibe of that city is like. So I'm with you on that. I like to go to local spots.
We did too. That's how we travel even now. Like, we were just in Ohio recently and we're like, okay, what's the best little restaurant that like only the local people go to down Cincinnati? Went
Hmm.
to this little place and we ended up going back there 3 times in the same week because the food was amazing. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
so good. So I'm like that. I mean, I'm all for being touristy too. But if for months I want to feel how I like to feel how it would be to live there. Like,
100%.
that's my idea of, like, enjoying a place is how it feels to be there, not just to be the tourist, but if you live there for 6 months, how would it feel? Because that's how I think
Yeah.
you get to know the people and the cultures, and I don't know, you get to learn, like, a little bit of the language everywhere you go if you kinda hang out in places like that, so, I don't know, I'm a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, this will be my first time like doing a bouncing around quite a bit because usually I like to do that. I like to be like 1 month minimum somewhere. So I go 1 month Puerto Rico, 1 month, Medellin, Colombia. But this Europe trip is kind of like, all right, Portugal to Spain to France to here to there. This is
That's
my
what
first time in Europe. So I think this is a good way to kind of get the feel and then go back for that month or two where they're like, oh, I've been there for 5 days. I kind of like that vibe. Let me go back for a month. So that's kind of my game plan that I'm going to do this summer.
that and I love that. So we got a Euro pass, and people are like, "Oh, why do you take the train? Everyone flies now." It's because the train takes you through the country. And on the
Mm,
trains are people that live there, and on some of the trains, the dining cart, everyone's eating and drinking, and they're all tourists, and they're hanging out. And we took a couple of night trains. Oh my god, the night trains are the most fun I've ever had.
really? I
Everyone's
didn't
up
know
in the
about this.
cart eating, and they're drinking, and they're from all over the world, and everyone's talking, and it was the most fun I ever had, was taking night trains.
I appreciate that advice. I'm gonna have
If
to
you
do
go, like,
that.
from here to here, it's, like, 8 hours, do it at night. Oh my god, the people are so much fun. I never had so much fun in my whole life. We ended up being over there one time in the World Cup, and a few of the people that are part of the team were taking some kind of a break, and they were on the train, and we were all on, like, the cart, like, the dining cart. Oh my god, I never had so much fun in my entire life. I was like, "People over here rock, man. I love it."
That's awesome. I'm excited to do that. I
I
wasn't planning
know.
on doing that.
Everyone's like, "Fly." It's like, "I don't wanna fly from here to there. I wanna go see the country. I can fly anywhere. I fly all the time. I wanna go see." And you can get everywhere by train, like, everywhere. We even got off a couple places, one by accident, we got off on this stop, and we were, like, 2 stops too early, and it let you out in a field. And I was
Mm,
like and then everyone starts coming up out of nowhere, getting on the train, and we're like, "Okay, well, we'll just go that direction." We ended up in this tiny little town, no one even spoke English. We ended up staying for, like, 5 days. It was the
wow.
most fun I ever had.
I love that.
Oh, fun, so see, folks, that's part of investing is to be able to do the things and grow your wealth, take care of yourself, have a good time because you know what? It's a lot of work being an entrepreneur, and everyone's like, "Oh, I wanna be my own boss," and but then I think they get so hard in on the working part of it. People don't take
Hmm.
time to actually enjoy what all that money does for you.
So true. Because that's the whole point of why I did this, why I started this, growth house, co-living houses, and got into real estate in the first place was to be able to leave that corporate job that I was in golden handcuffs, making 6 figures plus. But at the end of the day, I didn't have that freedom. So for the first year or so, I think I was guilty of that, where maybe first 2 years, I didn't really get to go experience and travel that much. And then I'm like, wait, I created this lifestyle and my business around a lifestyle, but I'm not living that lifestyle. So now I'm like, all right, let me go out there, explore, travel, because that's why I did it.
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 30.
30. Well, you are just a youngin'. Well, that's amazing. See, I didn't start till I was 30, and I didn't have that exact mindset yet. It probably took me till I was 40 to be like, I need to do more things instead of just always working all the time. But I was a single mom,
Hmm.
so I had a lot of extra stuff going on. But now I tell people like, listen, take the vacations, take time off, go. But when you're doing other things, see what's happening in those real estate economies. Like it's a
Hmm.
worldwide industry that we're in. You can do this
Hmm.
everywhere in the whole world.
So true.
So true.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Now, what made you get interested in like, I'm going to do the growth house? Like, did you stay on one? Did you visit one or did you see and just think I'm going to give it a shot? Like, what's
Yeah.
the first thing that you're like, that's what I want?
Well, it's the concept of house hacking was the original thing. So
Okay.
I knew that was the easiest way to get into real estate for me. Low, like percent down, and I was able to get into a house, multiple bedrooms, like I could make some money and live for free. That was the idea. And then it turned into if I want to live in a house with other people, already in my head was like, I don't like roommates. That was just a conception I had. And then I realized, well, if I like the people I live with and they're all like-minded and want to be in this growth-minded community, then I'll love the people. That's what ended up happening. At the same time, I will say I was seeing these houses pop up in California, and they were like these creator houses, these
Oh,
TikTok
yeah.
houses, these YouTube houses, these video game houses. I'm like, that's not what I want to do, but that is an interesting concept. The power of proximity, especially when you're all trying to strive towards a certain goal. And so for me, I was just like, why don't I do that with business professionals, entrepreneurs, and curate that type of environment for our house? And so that's really where the concept started. And then we just said, let's just see what happens.
I love it. And I only learned about like those creator houses, maybe, I don't know, maybe like a decade ago. And I thought, what a really great idea. Everyone under the same roof is doing the same thing. And I thought, you get a lot of ideas. Like, what a good thing. So I love to see it being done on the entrepreneurial side because I don't think enough entrepreneurs probably think like that.
Yeah.
So, so let's jump topics for a minute. Tell me, what's your favorite band of all time?
My favorite band of all time? Oh man. I grew up on hip hop and R&B, so I'm gonna say J. Cole is my favorite artist of all time.
I like the original, the old hip hop, like from the 90s before it was like so full of cursing and all the rappy stuff. It's like I have a playlist. It's all like OG hip hop. Every
Oh,
day
you
I
gotta put
play.
me on. What's some of your favorites?
That's it. Oh, I like stuff like Gangsta's Paradise
Yep, yep.
and Diggity and I just all like I don't know, all the yeah.
All the classics, Tribe
I'm
Called
trying to say
Quest,
like names. Like I
Run
like Run
DMC.
DMC. I
Yeah.
liked I'm trying to think of like the names. I just listened to my entire playlist about 2 days ago and I was like, oh, I forgot about that song. And it's got stuff like Ice Ice from what's his name? I oh Ice Ice Baby. What was his name? Vanilla
Oh, Vanilla
Ice.
Ice.
Yeah, he's on there, which I know
Classic.
he's not like super like, he's not gangster. But I have some stuff on there from Tupac. I don't know. I just
There you go.
like the original kind
Yeah.
of more dancey, opposed to now
Hmm.
it's like super rappy and there's so much cursing. Now it's just like, oh my God, like my ears are gonna
Well,
fall off the side of my head.
it is interesting because there's like the mainstream rappers and then there's the more underground and there's like multiple like different genres of rap now. So that's where like the which is unfortunate, but what gets pushed and promoted is that like just kind of ratchet gangster rap and a lot of cursing. But there's a lot of good artists, like an artist named Russ is one of my favorites. He
Uh-huh.
talks about manifestation and like, he shouts out Napoleon Hill in his song. So there is some artists that are like, okay, you're actually having some substance behind your music.
Yes.
And I love that. And I actually used to be a ghostwriter. So I used to write for artists coming out of college.
Oh,
So
fun, and I've got those songs like "Jump, Jump," just all the stuff. I guess, yeah,
yeah,
showing my age for sure. But my it's all fun, it's all, like, earlier hip hop. That's all everything you can dance to. That's kind of my exercise. Put on my music and jump around and just be
I
silly, and
love it.
I love it. And so I'm teaching my little grandkids that kind of stuff, and my daughter-in-law's like, "Now you gotta watch." I'm like, "Listen, I listen to what they I pay attention because I know there's a lot of stuff out there now, it's like, oof, you would not want any of your kids to know." Alright, what's your favorite food, Mr. Jesse Ray?
You know what? This one's funny because my favorite food of all time is sushi. And because of these allergies, I went to the allergy doctor. It's like 2 days ago. They did that scratch test on my back. It
Yep.
was all red. He's like, "You're allergic to a lot." But he's like, "There's one thing, we got to figure out what this is." He comes back. He's like, "What happens when you eat seafood?" I'm like, "Well, I love sushi. And like lately, it's kind of hard to breathe. But, I like it so much, so I don't really worry about it." He's like, "Yeah, don't ever do that again because you're highly allergic to seafood."
Oh,
So
no. I'd be devastated if I couldn't eat sushi.
I know, right? So now I'm like, my favorite food might just be like a good steak. So that's probably how to switch from seafood to steak.
The steak. Hey, listen, there's something I had steak for dinner last night. I ate a lot of steak. My husband ate a lot of steak. He's a steak and potatoes guy, and he does not like
Hmm.
sushi at all. So whenever I go with any of my kids or my friends, I'm like, "We're gonna go eat sushi." So
There
maybe
you
once in
go.
a while, like, take a little EpiPen and just, like, have, like, one of those giant, like, where you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna eat everything so I can't move, and then I'm just gonna EpiPen myself because it's worth it for the minute."
Not gonna lie, I've thought about that.
I swear to you, I would have to think about that if I couldn't have it again. I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. How bad do I want it?" Once in a while. Once in a while. What's your favorite part of the day?
Favorite part of the day.
Uh-huh.
You know what? It's at night. For whatever reason, that's when I get in my flow state. So it's at night, and then it kind of messes up my morning routine because I like to wake up early, but I just get most productive and locked in at night. So probably like after 9 o'clock.
You know, it's funny. I ask everyone that, and everyone always says more. I get up in the morning, work out at 5 a.m. Or I'm just like, does nobody like the nighttime? I love the
Hmm.
nighttime. It's like it gets late, the sun goes down. It's like everything is sort of like mellowed out. I am 100% a night owl, and I probably only had 10 people say that they like the nighttime. Everyone else is like, oh, I'm up at 6 a.m. And I was like, why though? Like,
Yeah.
why? You have the choice. Why do you do that? But to each their own. That's all good. I'm 100% a night owl. So, what is your biggest goal right now that you would like to accomplish, and how can the Wonderful family help you accomplish that goal?
Well, I love this question. So right now, I'm on a mission to help 100 people in the next 12 months achieve financial freedom. And so we're doing that through a lot of ways. One of the main ways is our podcast. So
Okay.
Growth House Podcast, we're just getting the word out there. It's literally been blowing up all over social media, and it's really fun to watch because, as you know, there's not like virality with podcasts. It's really hard to market. Is really word of mouth is like the best way to do it, or email list. And
Yeah.
so for us, is getting the podcast out there, and then you get to learn more about our community, you get to learn about the Growth House, and then from there take a step into our ecosystem.
Nice. Okay, I love it. So and I call all my people, they're all my family. We all talk,
Same
we hang
here.
out, we have drinks, like you and I. Everyone becomes part of my family. And one of the things that I really like to try to do is help people reach their goals. Because
Mm,
Jesse, when you help other people, then that ends up coming back around to you. So I'm
100%.
always like, listen, if there's a goal, if there's something we can do, is there any way that we can help you? I'm here for it.
Love it. Yes,
So
the podcast, being a guest on other podcasts has been huge for us as well, just kind of getting the word out there.
nice. And your podcast is called
Growth House.
Growth House, just Growth House. Okay. So
Yep. And then
everyone,
Jesse Ray, pop up.
yeah. So everyone, this will be in the show notes and stuff like that. And then when we do the little 60, 30-second clips of each of the shows, I put all these little like sneak peeks out there. I'll make sure that we put out one that talks specifically about your podcast and what you do. I am here. I have not actually done a growth house type of thing. And Bill and I've talked about it a lot, and we just haven't quite done it yet. But I'm like, you know what? I think I'd like to get a couple and just to do it and experience it. And because everyone that does it loves it.
Mm, hmm.
They do. The people that I've met, they love doing it. So I'm gonna have to send people your way because I have people ask me a lot of questions about stuff like that. And I'm like, listen, I can help you with probably most of it as far as the real estate and the building and this and that, but I can't really guide you on the rest of it because I've never done it. And I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, I did one deal and I wrote a program and now I'm a national speaker, because
Right.
we know those people. I was like, I would have to say if someone wants that, I have to send them to somebody else because it's like, I'm not your person. I can't teach
Hmm.
you that.
Yeah, anything co-living, anything kind of pad split like, help a lot of people in that realm. That's kind of what we're experts in over the last 3 years of having so many people come in and out. We've had some mistakes we learned, and then we have the SOPs to now kind of correct all that.
Wow, you're my favorite co-living person that I've met so far.
Yes.
I love your spirit and your heart. So you're the guy I'm gonna be sending all the people to.
Let's go. Appreciate you, Dwan.
You've got that heart. It's all about you just got to have a good heart for people. And the fact that you're out trying to help people reach financial freedom, that's always been my goal is to help people get out of, like you said, the corporate, what'd you call them, the golden handcuffs or something?
Golden handcuffs, yeah, especially when you're making some good money. Everyone's telling you, like, why would you ever do that? And then you have the benefits, and then it's like kind of stuck for most people until you break away and you realize there's a whole world out there.
But most everyone stays stuck till they retire. It's
Hmm.
like, man,
Yeah.
you don't have to just give your life to somebody else. You're gonna work anyway. Do it for yourself and your family and your kids and build some generational wealth. Like it's I don't know. I just can't imagine. I'm 65. So my family, I'm from
Dwan,
the
you are not 65. Don't
shut
lie.
up. I turned 65 this year.
That
But I'll take that. No, I know. So I'm like, hey, listen, I know I
I
look
was
good,
saying you got to be mid 30s. No, no later than that.
honey.
Okay, if you're listening to this on audio, go on YouTube so you can see what I'm talking about.
Stop. But a lot of my cousins and people I grew up with, they're all like retiring, but they all
Mhm.
worked for, especially because we're all from Ohio. A lot of them worked for factories and people, and they're
Mhm.
retiring. It's like when are you going to retire? I was like, retire from what? Well,
Mhm.
working. I'm like, but I built my company. And it's my company, and I love doing it. So I'm never going to retire. This is what I do. I'm going to do this forever and ever and ever. I mean, you see all these
Yeah.
older, like the Forbes kind of people and all that, and they're all, what are they, in their 80s? They're all still
Mhm.
out there. Warren Buffett, they're all out there still doing their thing because they built it and
Mhm.
they like it.
And I think a misconception I had, which people will realize this, once you do hit this financial freedom number, for me, it was just how do I replace my corporate salary, which was about 6 figures at the time. So
Yeah.
how do I make 6 figures in passive real estate investments? And once I hit that, I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, wait, this is not the end game. This is when life actually starts.
Yeah.
This is when I have the freedom to play to win, not play not to lose. And that's when it gets fun.
Yeah, I'm with you, honey. Amen. All right, so first, I have one more question for you before we hang up. But
Okay.
everyone that's listening, I want to thank you for being a part of the most wonderful real estate podcast ever, and being in the world with us today. And I want you to do me a favor. If you enjoyed the show, you laughed, you learned something, you had a good time with us, I want you to subscribe. I want you to leave me a 5-star review. On the days where I teach just by myself, I read some 5-star reviews. So if you'd like to have yours read, you gotta leave me one. And follow me on, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all the stuff. And if you want to watch, podcasts really are so much more fun to watch. Go to my YouTube channel, Dwan for Real Estate, and just watch. I have amazing guests. I don't know if I've had one quite as handsome as Jess, as handsome as you, though. I mean, I'm telling you, girls, are you single?
I am single.
All right, girls, I'm telling you right here, you gotta check this guy out. This is a keeper.
Appreciate it.
Telling you, right. Hey, listen, real estate. I met my husband at a real estate seminar. So we've been
There
married
you
26
go. It's
years. It's
possible.
like not only is it my business, it was my dating pool.
I love it. I love it. I'm always thinking about that. I'm probably gonna meet my future wife at a conference, a mastermind, or something like that.
That's where I met Bill. And I had a hard rule. I do not date investors because I don't want to date someone. I always just talk about real estate. And I was
Mm,
single for a decade and I met Bill. It's like all that went out the window and we got married and that was the end of it.
love it. Happily ever after.
Yeah, for real. Okay, now I do want you to give us a parting word of wisdom, but just a single word.
Ooh, a single word of wisdom. I'll say association.
Mm, So everyone that listens, they all know that the goal is to write association on a little sticky, put it on your mirror, and every day they go association. That's the word of the week. So what
Mhm.
does it mean to you?
For me, it goes back to our motto: you become who you surround yourself with. And there's even Harvard studies that are like 25 years of a Harvard study said 95% of your success is going to be dictated by the five people you spend the most time around. And that's just
Amen.
really it at the end of the day. You got to watch who your inner circle is and surround yourself with good people.
All right, so there you have it, and that's a really good word of the way. That's what I think it is too. You become who you surround yourself with. I agree 100%. So I always just like to know what my guests what that word means to them because different words, mean different things to all of us. So
Hmm.
guys, y'all have your I give homework. So y'all have your homework association and really think about who are the five people that you spend time around. Outside like your family. Like who are you hanging out with? Are you hanging out with people that are partying and up doing drugs all night and running around and doing that? Are you hanging out with business people or who are you hanging out with? Because you really are the sum of who you spend your time with. And you will find that as you make more money, your inner circle completely changes and one of these days you look around and go, dang, everyone I hang out with is like successful. Every single person, like, that's so cool. And then when someone goes, hey, let's go eat at a restaurant that's 500 bucks a plate, you're like, sure, I can do that.
Hmm.
Right?
100%. And I think it's fun also when, even when you're eating at a restaurant, you get to play credit card roulette where you give the person all the
Yeah.
credit cards and you don't care who picks up the tab and it's fun.
It
So
doesn't
that's
matter.
that's the people you want to hang out with. It's a lot more fun. You're able to go travel with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep listening to this podcast. Reach financial freedom. That's when life starts.
Amen. All right, everyone. We'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And remember that the truth is in the red letter. All right, Jesse. Thank you, everyone. Ciao. I'll see you guys next week. You just had a taste of the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. So just one more thing before you go. If you laughed, if you learned something, please leave a 5-star review. Don't be a gatekeeper. Share it with everyone that you know. And I'll see you back here next week for the most wonderful real estate podcast ever.